probably know me because I've always lived in Columbia and always attended Alive in Christ. As I grew up, I continued to go to church every Sunday, and I have made friendships that I still have to this day. My week had became kind of like a batting routine. So I'd go to school for 5 days, relax on Saturday, and then go to church every Sunday. I practically grew up in the church, and this I am grateful for. But this used to make church and faith similar to a chore, where I went through the motions of church, but I wasn't really involved. In my recent years, Sunday school and confirmation, as well as spending time with my fellow Christian friends, has helped me make my faith my own. God has given me a loving and supporting friend group, and he has also blessed me with talents in both academics and sports. Because of this, I find myself crossing paths with a lot of non-Christians in some of my higher level classes, and I struggle to know when or if to bring up my faith. Recently, in science class, I found myself voicing my beliefs in conversations about evolution, and this has given me the opportunity to share a little more about Christianity to my friends who may have a different religion. Not only do I try to tell them about my Christian faith, but also show them what it means to be a Christian through my actions, by having a positive attitude and helping out when they need help. Although I do have a lot of non-Christian friends, I also have many Christian role models in each aspect of my life. My Christian friends, some of which go to this church, set an example of how I should present myself as Christian youth. Being a part of a team has shown me how good supportive friendships are just like our relationship with God, because whether we strike out or hit a home run, he always supports me. My teachers and coaches have also shown me how to be a good Christian leader in society. And last, but certainly not least, is my family and my parents who have shown me what it means to always be faithful. These people have helped me along my path to being confirmed today, but me being confirmed is about my personal relationship with God. I'm getting confirmed today so that I'm committed to this church, but more importantly, committed to our God. Lastly, I like to conclude my testimony with the Bible verse I picked out that summarizes my life and faith so far. Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who's in heaven." To me, this means when you act through joy in and around others, it will lead them to God. This faith that we have is about joy in and through God, and I hope to live this out throughout my daily life. Thank you.
Next up, Deborah Brush.
Hello, like Will said, my name is Deborah Brush, and 8 years ago, on a crisp January morning, I was diagnosed with the rare and serious disease called Kawasaki's. At first, doctors had no idea what it was, and new symptoms kept appearing. They were discussing this unusual predicament and these symptoms in the break room when the infectious disease specialist, Dr. Cooperstock, walked by and heard what the conversation was about and said that he might have an idea what it may be. Soon I was diagnosed, on treatment, and improving. Now, I don't think that Dr. Cooperstock was there by coincidence. I know that God was in that break room and in Dr. Cooperstock's actions. Of course, at that time, I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was that I was getting better, at least until recently when discussing it with my parents. But without that diagnosis, I know that I may not be here today, which is why I chose the verse, Matthew 19:26, for my testimony. It states that with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. I believe that nothing is impossible with God because I'm here today, which, like I already mentioned, don't think would have been possible without God or those doctors. I also can't thank my parents enough for guiding me through this part of my life, and I hope that God would give them the wisdom to guide me through the rest of it.
Thank you for sharing. Next up, Jordan Jones.
Good morning. My name is Jordan Jones. I was born on December 18, 2004 in Columbia, Missouri at Boone Hospital. I have one brother and 3 sisters. My parents are Steve and Carmen Jones. I was baptized here at Alive in Christ Lutheran Church. To me, baptism meant that I was born into Christ's family. Since I have studied what Luther teaches in the Small Catechism, I have learned that the baptismal water and God's Word works to forgive my sins and rescues me from death and gives me eternal salvation. As I continue to learn about Jesus, I trust that my faith will continue to grow. My testimony actually begins before I was born. My parents would tell me how God was watching over me. My mom was put on bed rest for 4 months due to pregnancy complications. She jokes about how easy bed rest was with 3 kids under the age of 9 during these 4 months. She had many frequent contractions that made my parents worry. God led my mom to a scripture in the book of Deuteronomy. He told her to be strong and courageous because I was in his hands. These were his words to Joshua when he was crossing the Jordan River. She said that the crossing of the river showed Joshua's faith and the fulfilling of God's promise to his people. It was during this time that they chose the name Jordan. When I was younger, I didn't truly understand why Jesus died for me or what it meant. Now that I am older, I am beginning to understand who Jesus is and what he did for me. I can see that my journey with God is still continuing. There are many people who have helped me grow in the Lutheran faith. The most obvious are my parents. They have pushed me to seek God and his will for my life. My grandparents and extended family have reminded me through letters and calls of all the blessings God has given me. I have learned through church leaders such as Mrs. Wilson, Mr. Keel, Pastor Tim, and Pastor Scott about Jesus and his importance in my life. My siblings and my best friend, Sam Wright, have helped me to see the good and the not-so-good things I have done. My basketball coach, Macy Walquist, has taught me about the different aspects of leading a godly life through her many Bible studies. She pushes me to take the lead in prayer before games. I have only shared with you a small portion of the many people who have blessed and cared for me. Today, I am being confirmed in owning my faith so that I can be closer to God and understand what he has in store for me. I want to be a member of this church and the body of Christ so that when the time comes, I can stand firm against Satan's attacks on me and others. My confirmation verse is Romans 37-39. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am sure that neither death nor life, nor angels nor demons, nor the present, nor any powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Jesus Christ our Lord. I picked this verse because God's love has kept me safe. He wanted me to be on this earth so I can glorify him and help make his name great. He has saved me, and for that reason I will do my best to carry out the plans he has for me. Thank you.
Well done, Jordan. We're going to mix it up now and have some men come join us now. Next up, Oliver Carson.
Good morning. My name is Oliver Carson. I'm 14 years old. I was born in Columbia, Missouri. I have 4 sisters and a brother, and possibly another adopted sibling on the way. I have lived on a small farm for most of my life, and have been going to church my whole life. I was baptized when I was a baby at Trinity Lutheran Church. To me, baptism means that we are a child of God and that all of our sins have already been forgiven before we even know what they are. This is the Bible verse I chose, 1 Corinthians 16:13. Be on your guard, stand firm in your faith, be men of courage, and be strong. I chose this verse because it shows me how to be ready to do what God wants me to do. Be on your guard to me means that to be ready to do what God wants you and be ready to turn away from what the devil wants you to do. It doesn't mean to stand by your house and be ready to defend it. Stand firm in your faith to me means that to be ready to withstand the devil's evil and not let the devil tear you down. Be men of courage to me means to stand up and be strong even in the hardest of times and put your trust in God. Be strong to me means that we need to stand firm in our faith and not fall down and not let our faith in God die away. I came to know Jesus through church and camps that I went to because of the way people showed their faith. I also had a lot of help from my parents and my 2 best friends, Deborah and Jacob, through my journey of faith. One of the biggest things that affected my faith was when my parents decided to be foster parents. They adopted a group of 3 siblings. It wasn't exactly easy to go from the youngest kid in the house being 11 years old to the youngest kid in the house being 8 months old. We had a pretty hard time for the first 2 years. My mom and sister Isabel both had 2 surgeries in those years. We were all sick most of the time too. The reason I'm getting confirmed is because I want to be God's servant and follow His plan for my life. I think that getting confirmed is the next step for me to follow God's plan. Through God's guidance, I plan to continue to serve the church and volunteer for community service activities as much as I can. Thank you for letting me share my testimony.
Yes.
Who's next?
Next up, one Alexis Rebel.
Perfect. You get to hold this now. We're going to make it a little more complicated.
Alexis is very coordinated.
Good morning. My name is Alexis Rabel, and how I came to Christ was I grew up in a family full of people who believed in God. And I was always going to church, but it was when I met my best friend Kim, and she really helped me with what I needed. She was always there for me. When I was baptized as a baby at English Lutheran Church in Ellsworth, Wisconsin, baptism means to me that you are always accepted into the family by the church. Your parents take on the responsibility to care for you and teach you the Word of God. That is when I also started going to Sunday school. When we moved to Papillion, Nebraska, we joined Trinity Lutheran Church. I went to Sunday school and started my confirmation classes there. They had First Communion classes that I took. For our last class, students came over to my house, and Pastor Eric helped us bake leavened bread, and that was the bread we used for our First Communion celebration. So my family from Minnesota came down for the celebration. At Trinity is also where I became involved with the youth group. I created strong bonds with kids in that group, both within the church and outside of the church. I also went on a youth mission troop. We went to Colorado, and it brought me closer to God, and my bond became closer with a lot of kids in the group. When we moved to Fulton, I was kind of nervous about finding a church. It took us a while to find a church my whole family liked. I'm glad we ended up at Alive in Christ. My best friend came with us as well to a Winter Jam concert that our whole youth group went to. Coming to this church and making new friends and getting to know people that wanted to keep learning about Christ has helped me build my faith as well. To conclude my testimony, my Bible verse is from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 39. Acknowledge and take to heart this day that the Lord is God in heaven above and on earth below. There is no other. I chose this verse because I need to make sure I appreciate every day, because there might not be a tomorrow, and that God is there to support me with everything. My family has been there to support me every day. They all have had my back when I needed them, and I know I could go to God and pray. I knew they would listen to me when I needed them. I am very thankful for my church, friends, family, for being there and supporting me. I hope I will continue to grow in my faith and continue to spread the Word of God to others. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Logan Veers.
Hello, my name is Logan Veers, and this is my testimony. I started in believing Jesus at my Grammy's church. My Sunday school class in kindergarten was the best. My teacher, Nina, was a really kind, nice lady who helped me believe in Jesus. She taught me the class in a simple, easy way so that we understood the stories and lessons. One person that made my life easier is my best friend, Jack. Me and Jack have been best friends before kindergarten, and we've always gotten along. Has been there for me, like if he's helping me with schoolwork or anything else, he's there. When I was baptized at my Grammy Church in Macon, Missouri, the pastor was named Steve. He baptized me from the water from the Jordan River. When I was younger, I thought being baptized meant that you are now one with the church and you are serve God in every way. My confirmation verse is Revelation 3:11. I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take your crown. I picked this verse because it reminded me that life is short. Use it well and don't let anyone ruin it. It also reminded me that you are your own self and no one can change that. People that have changed my life has to be my grandparents. They taught me from right and wrong. They've been making lifetime memories. My grandpa and grandma we've made a lot of memories, cutting down Christmas trees, to getting tractors stuck, or even playing in corn-filled silos. My Grammy and Gramps have made a lot of memories too, from taking us camping, from doing shed hunts, and even riding the mini bike. Has made my life a lot better. Also, my parents and my daycare. They taught me in godly ways and preparing in every meal and before I go to bed. And I think that keeps me away from the bad things in life. If anything in my future I like to put in is God and the church. This is my testimony.
Well done, well done. Next up, Ty Eversole.
Hi, my name is Ty Eversole, and yes, people always wonder if that is my full name, and it is. I was born September 13th, 2004 in Dayton, Ohio. Soon after I was born, I was adopted. I am the third oldest out of my three other siblings. My sister Grace is 16, Garrett is 15, and my little sister Lila is 10. Something unique about my siblings and me is that we're all adopted, which is pretty cool. I was baptized in Baltimore, Ohio when I was 5 months old. I have had important people in my life who have made me the Christian I am today. First, my mom and dad have always prayed with me and for me. We even pray before meals in restaurants. That used to always embarrass me, because it seemed like everyone was looking at us. But now it's just something my family does, and I think it's cool that we let everyone know who is important to us. We are at church every Sunday. They even come and get me for church when I've spent the night at friends' houses. Grandma and Grandpa, my grandma and grandpa have been a big influence on my faith. They do family devotions with us on every vacation. My grandma is always making food for somebody, and they always plant this huge garden just to have a lot to give away. My Uncle Josh is always someone I've looked up to. He's encouraged me with Bible verses he sent to me, and he is a doctor that cares so much about his patients that he has even fixed some of their roofs, invited some of them to church, and provided Christmas for their families. Some things that have taken me into a deeper relationship with God was the SOS trip to Memphis, Tennessee. We middle schoolers and high schoolers teamed up with other kids to help renovate the outside of people's houses. It was hard and hot work, but we were all working together to serve other people and make their homes places they could be proud of. It felt good to be the hands and feet of Jesus to that older lady. Just being in confirmation and beginning to understand why we believe the things we do. Will Keel has been a favorite teacher of mine and has led us through 3 years of confirmation. I've had some challenges that have brought me closer to God as well. I changed schools when I started the 7th grade, and that was really tough. I knew my old school wasn't right for me. I didn't like the influences around me, and I didn't like the way they made me feel about myself. God didn't leave me alone in that, and led my family to choose a new school. My teachers are Christians who care not just about me as their student, but who I am becoming. We have chapel every Monday with speakers, coaches, business owners, missionaries who are teaching me that God works in big, varying, and fascinating ways. Another recent challenge for my family has been a health scare for my mom. God was with us all the way and helped us through the challenge. Ways I can serve the church would be usher, greet, and even work in the kitchen. I got a taste of that when the youth group made and served a meal, and it was fun. The verse I chose for my confirmation is Genesis 17:1. When Abraham was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless." I didn't choose it because I thought God was telling Abram to ditch his camel and lace up his sandals and be perfect. but because he was telling Abram to move closer in a relationship with the Almighty God. And he didn't expect Abram to be perfect, but to obey him. Like Abraham, I want to always walk before God with nothing to hide. And I can do that by being blameless before God just because Jesus died for me. Thank you.
Good job. Last but not least, Brianna Schultz.
Hi, my name is Brianna Schultz, and I'm 13 years old. I was originally born in New Orleans, Louisiana, but I've lived here my whole life. And though I've been raised in the Christian faith, I haven't always believed in God. As we're growing up, whatever our parents say is basically law, and that's what God was for me, a bedtime story or something out of a fairy tale. Soon, though, I learned something. Things that you can't see are probably fake, or at least that's what my friends in 4th and 5th grade told me. And they turned out to be right. In those 2 years, things that I had put my whole heart into believing turned out to be fake. It broke my heart. If all these things weren't real, was God? Soon everything just started slipping away. The first to go was my belief in heaven. I just stopped believing that there was something after death. And if there was something, I didn't think that I would be going there. Next was just the whole idea. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't seem like there was someone watching over me. I was focusing on all the bad things that have ever happened in my life. My life had been uprooted by a hurricane, my birth mother gave me up, and things just didn't go great a lot at school last year, which was when a lot of this was happening. I didn't feel like anything was going my way, and it was a rough 2 years for me spiritually. But I do know one thing. I could never fully stop myself believing, and trust me, I tried. I stressed so much to have a solid answer. Did I or did I not believe in God? Was I a Christian? I couldn't decide. That's how I knew something in me must have believed. And slowly this past year, I've started to get stronger in my faith. I couldn't tell you what changed. It was like waiting for the backup generator to turn on after a blackout. It takes a while, but it always comes back. I think I have to thank my parents. My mom for being so understanding when I lost my faith, and my dad for always having his. But don't think I'm going back to how it was before. I'm not. I'm going to be better. I'm focusing on the good. I see now everything that has been done for me. I was lucky enough to survive the hurricane, and I have a pretty great family now. But don't tell them I said that. I chose this verse because I'm finally choosing to believe, not just now, but for the future too. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to give you hope and a future. I choose to have hope from now on. Hope in the future and hope in myself and my own faith. I hope that someday, years from now, someone will ask me if I believe in God. I want to be able to smile and without hesitation say yes. Thank you.
Well done. 8 amazing young men and women have shared their testimony. I encourage you guys to think about that and then to think about your own testimony. Especially Tim mentioned, we all get that opportunity to share our testimony on our way and at work, and perhaps with our friends as we're playing golf or riding bikes or things like that. So think about their testimonies, think about your own testimony, and don't be afraid to share. You guys done a great job. I'd like to get all of you to come up here, confirmation class, and give them a round of applause when we get up here. Thank you. You guys can sit down if you want.